Hello, and welcome to Module 2. Before we begin, I want you to pause for a moment. Think about where you are right now in your journey. Maybe you are a student. Maybe you are preparing for your first job. Maybe you are still figuring things out. Wherever you are, that's okay. In Module 1, you spent time understanding yourself, your strengths, your interests, your direction. Now, in this module, we take a different step. Not inside, but outside. We learn how to talk about ourselves. And for many people, especially when your journey has not been simple, this is not easy. Because sometimes you don't know what to say. And sometimes you know what to say, but you don't know how to say it. Now, here is something I want you to remember throughout this module. Your disability is part of your story, but it is not your entire identity. Your story is much bigger. It includes your effort, your learning, your courage, your small wins, your persistence. And in this module, we will learn how to bring that story forward. Not perfectly, but honestly. Let's begin with a simple question. Imagine someone asks you, "Tell me about yourself." Take a moment. Don't rush. Just sit with this question. What happens in your mind? Do you feel clear? Or do you feel slightly stuck? Maybe your mind starts jumping between thoughts. Should I talk about my studies? Should I mention my disability? What if they focus only on that? What if I say something wrong? And sometimes there is a silence. You know you have a story, but you don't know where to begin. That moment is what we are working on today. So just notice your response. No judgment, no pressure, just awareness. If you felt unsure, that's completely normal. Many people go through this, especially when your journey has included challenges that others may not fully understand. You might have experienced moments where people saw only your limitation and not your effort, or situations where you had to explain yourself again and again. So naturally, when someone asks you to introduce yourself, it feels like a big responsibility. What do I say? What do I leave out? How much is too much? These are real questions. But here's something important. If you don't shape your story, others may assume it. And assumptions are often incomplete. So instead of avoiding your story, we learn how to own it, shape it, and express it. Let's shift how we look at your journey. Think about the experiences you've had. Maybe you studied in spaces that were not fully accessible. Maybe you had to find your own ways to learn. Maybe you had to ask for support when others didn't. Maybe you had to try a little harder or wait a little longer. Now pause and think. Through all of this, what have you built? You've built patience. You've built problem solving. You've built resilience. You've built awareness. These are not small things. These are powerful qualities. And many people don't develop them this deeply. So your journey is not just about difficulty. It is also about strength. Let's take one real example. Think of a situation where something was not accessible. Maybe a classroom, maybe transport, maybe a digital platform. At that moment, it might have felt frustrating. But what did you do? Did you find another way? Did you ask for help? Did you adapt? That process is a skill. Now let's connect it. Navigating barriers builds problem solving. Advocating for yourself builds communication. Adapting builds creativity. Continuing despite difficulty builds resilience. So the same experience has two sides, the challenge and the strength. And most people stop at the challenge. But your confidence grows when you start seeing the strength. Now let's connect this to something practical. Think about a regular resume. It usually talks about marks, degrees, maybe internships, but it misses something important. It misses your journey. It doesn't show how you think. It doesn't show what you've learned from your experiences. And that's why many people feel like this doesn't fully represent me. So instead of depending only on that, we introduce something called a life resume. A life resume helps you understand yourself more deeply, not just what you have done, but who you are becoming. Your life resume has 5 simple parts, and each one matters. First, your strengths. Second, your achievements. Third, your lessons. Fourth, your gaps. And fifth, your bridges. Let's make this real. Strengths are what you do well. Achievements are what you've done. Lessons are what your journey has taught you. Gaps are where you want to grow. And bridges are how you plan to grow. Notice something. This is not about being perfect. It is about being aware. And awareness builds confidence. Now, this is your moment. Take a notebook or your phone and start writing your life resume. Don't overthink, just start. Write your strengths. Write your achievements. Write your lessons. Write your gaps. Write your bridges. If you feel stuck, that's okay. Even writing one point is enough to begin. Give yourself a few minutes here. This is not just an activity. This is you understanding your own story. Pause here and take your time. Now let's make this real with an example. I want you to imagine a learner named Aisha. Aisha is a student pursuing graphic design. She also has a visual impairment. Now let's look at how her life resume might look. Let's start with her strengths. Aisha has developed strong attention to detail. Because she cannot rely fully on visual cues, she has learned to focus deeply on structure, contrast, and clarity. She is also very patient and persistent. Things sometimes take longer, but she stays with the process. And over time, she has become very thoughtful in how she approaches design. Now let's look at her achievements. Aisha has completed multiple design projects in college. She has also helped her classmates understand accessibility in design, like how color contrast or font size affects readability. In one project, she even redesigned a simple website to make it more accessible for people with low vision. Now let's move to lessons from her journey. One important lesson she has learned is that accessibility is not just a feature. It is a necessity. She has also learned that asking for support is not a weakness. It is a way of ensuring she can perform at her best. And she has realized that her way of seeing the world is different. But that difference adds value. Now let's look at her gaps. Aisha feels she needs to improve her technical skills in certain design tools. She also wants more exposure to real-world projects. And finally, her bridges. To work on her gaps, she has started taking online courses. She is practicing regularly. And she is also looking for internships where she can apply her skills in real projects. Now pause for a moment. Notice something. This example is not about being perfect. It is about being aware. It shows strengths but also gaps. It shows achievements but also learning.
And that is what makes it powerful. Now think about yourself. If you had to create your life resume like Aisha, what would your strengths be? What would your lessons be? What would your bridges look like? Take a moment and reflect on that.
Now let's talk about your value. Many people think value comes from degrees, but that's only one part. Your value comes from your skills, your experiences, your mindset, and your perspective. And your journey has given you something unique, a way of seeing the world, a way of solving problems that others may not have. That is your value. Let's make this simple. Complete this sentence. I am someone who. Take a moment. Say it in your mind or say it out loud. You don't need perfect words. You just need honest ones. For example, I am someone who adapts quickly, or I am someone who believes in inclusion, or I am someone who keeps going. This is not about impressing. This is about clarity. Now we bring everything together. An elevator pitch is a short introduction, about 30 to 60 seconds. It helps someone understand you quickly, who you are, what you care about, and what you are looking for. Think of it like this. If someone remembers just one thing about you, what should that be? That is your pitch. Let's come back to Aisha. You just saw her life resume. Now, imagine Aisha is sitting in an interview or meeting someone at a networking event, and she is asked a simple question. Tell me about yourself. This is how Aisha might respond. Hello, my name is Aisha. I am currently pursuing graphic design, and I enjoy creating designs that are simple, clear, and easy for people to understand. As someone with a visual impairment, I have learned to pay close attention to structure, contrast, and accessibility in design. It has shaped how I think about user experience. During my college projects, I have also explored how small design changes can make content more accessible for people with different needs. I am now looking for opportunities where I can continue learning and contribute to creating more inclusive and accessible digital experiences. Now let's pause for a moment and notice a few things. Aisha did not try to hide her disability. She also did not over-explain it. She used it as part of her story and connected it to her strength. She spoke about what she does, how she thinks, and what she is looking for. Simple, clear, and confident. Now think about yourself. If you had to introduce yourself like this, what would you say? Now it's your turn. Write your own introduction. Take your time. Start with your name, then what you do, then your strengths, then what you are looking for. And once you write it, say it out loud. Because confidence comes from practice. Let's close this module with one thought. You are not just a resume. You are a story. Your disability is not a limitation. It is part of a journey that has shaped you. Your courage, your resilience, your perspective. And when you learn to own your story, you don't just change how others see you, you change how you see yourself. And that changes everything.